We got a problem here. Yo, what's going on, guys? Alex here, and this is a video that I did not want to be making again. So I thought that my problem would be solved with the other video that you guys saw. If you guys didn't see that, go check it out. I'll link it up on the top. But if you guys did not see that video, I switched out my cam positioning sensors thinking that the code that I was getting was because of that. But sadly, it came back, and I know it's not the sensors because I just changed them. So now all the forms and everything were correct. It is my alternator. All right, so huge thing with this, okay? I am no expert by any means. If you try to do this from my video, I am not responsible. But we're gonna try to do this as safely as possible here. So it's always good practice when working with the electrical of your car to disconnect your battery, because you don't want something to short out, and that has 12 volts going through it. Wired to the alternator on the back of it has 12 volts going through it. Touches something, it's gonna short it out. It's not gonna be a good time for you. Pretty much all you gotta do, all right? Unhook your battery, take off your cold air intake. Those are the two basic steps, the first two basic steps pretty much. And then I'll move a few more things out of the way. You're gonna wanna move this out of the way, your coolant reservoir. And then what you're gonna wanna do, take off your throttle body and everything that attaches. Mine has a throttle body spacer, so I'm gonna take that off as well. Don't forget to take these off, because if you break those, not a good day. And then yeah, we'll go from there. So pretty much after you disconnect all the little harnesses that go to your throttle body, which is right over there. So this right here is your intake. There is 4 bolts that connect. I had a throttle body spacer. I'm pretty sure they were aftermarket bolts for mine, but it should be all the same thing. You just have to take that off and you're gonna be exposed to your intake. Good practice is to put 2 rags in here, which is what I'm gonna do, so then you don't get anything that goes into your intake, because that is an absolute hassle. You do not wanna deal with that. But this right here is your alternator. This here right here, it's held together by, well, not held together, but it's held up by this support bracket, which is held there by a whole bunch of different little bolts. And so now what's really pretty much all left to do is take off the serpentine belt, which I will try my best to explain, and then take off this little guy, and then we should be all set. All right, so if you guys can see this, right? So on this tensioner, there's only one, turn this up so you guys can see it. There's only one way you can do this. So you push, I have a 1/2-inch breaker bar here, just a little 1/2-inch hole right there. All you do is you push clockwise against it, and as you can tell right there, the belt starts to untighten. See, so then once you get 1 or 2 loops out of the way, then you don't have to be holding your breaker bar anymore. But one thing, make sure you take lots and lots, well, I wouldn't say lots of pictures, because there's diagrams online and everything, but just make sure that you know where you're going to be routing this guy again, because if you don't, then you're going to either miss your AC pulley, or maybe you won't put it right, and then your engine won't function as it should. So just make sure you make a mental note of where all of these go, and then I'll show you guys how to take it off the tensioner, because the tensioner is a bit special. As you can see, all of these, you can just pull it out through the front, but not the tensioner, because it's blocked off by this piece right there. So I'll show you guys how to do that in 1 second. All right, so once you get this guy pretty much free sailing, right? All these pulleys can spin freely now, you know, it ain't gonna matter. All right, so pretty much, let me turn this ISO up so you guys can see a lot better. Pretty much, all you're gonna do is there is a little tiny, and I mean tiny, little place right here where you can slip the belt behind. That should be enough space for you to be able to get it out. So I don't know if it's gonna work yet, but it should, because that's like, unless you're gonna have to take off the entire tensioning mechanism, and if I have to do that, then I'll show you guys how to do it. But I'm pretty sure you can just slip it through here for the 2006 Mustangs. Pretty sure you can just slip it through this guy. Perfect, so like I was saying, yeah, you can just slip it through the back. I got mine out, no problem. You can just slip it through the back of that pulley, and you should be good. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to get the alternator off. So yeah, make sure that your battery is disconnected before you can get to this point, fine, with your battery connected. But after this, make sure right now your battery's disconnected. All right, perfect. So once you're at this position, you're doing pretty good. So this right here, it's a 10mm. This is an 8mm. And down here, as you can see, there's two right there, one there, and one there. All right, you take those off. Those are 13mm. So once you take off these two and these two 10s, the whole alternator will come out and your intake will be exposed, or not the intake, but the block will be exposed right here. That's where your alternator sits in. Don't worry about the 8mm at the moment, because of the reason that when you take off the whole bracket, then you can, you know, take those off and then worry about that later. But as of right now, we're just gonna take off the 10mm and the 13mm down here, and the alternator should come right out. All right, guys, so this is why I said to unplug the positive side of the battery. So this connects from your alternator straight to the battery. That's what keeps it charged. Underneath this boot or grommet, whatever you want to call it, this little attachment thing, I don't really know what you want to call it, but if this touches anything on your alternator or on your block or anything that's pretty much metal, it will short out this whole thing, and that is never good. So all this was a little 10mm. Please, please, please disconnect your battery. All this was 10mm, and then all you do on this guy is you just push this down and in, and I don't know what the hell that is, but great deal. So you just push this down and in, and then you're good. And then this comes free, and then from there you get your alternator out. Just turn the ISO on this down. There you go. Get your alternator out. This is what she looks like free. Pretty much you're going to reuse this bracket right here. So we're going to take off these 8mm, and then we're going to take a trip down to O'Reilly's, because I ordered another one. I ordered Motorcraft, which is I think it's OEM for Ford. Motorcraft is a lot more expensive, but I don't want to keep changing this shit out like every year. So might as well pay a little bit extra and then save some time on the way. So let's take this off, make a trip down to O'Reilly's, get the new alternator, and then we'll reverse the process, do it all over again. Let's do it. Oh, and while I'm there, well, while anybody's here actually, once you're pulling this out, you can pull 3 things out of the way at once. Alternator, serpentine belt, because these go bad, guys. I don't know if you guys knew, and mine is starting to crack a tiny bit, so I think it's time to get a new one. And I'm also going to clean the throttle body and my throttle body spacer, because these get really dirty, as you can tell, and you already have it out, so might as well make use of it. And look at that, see what I mean? So might as well make use of it, clean all this stuff up, so then you don't got to do it in the future. So let's do it, guys. Alrighty, we're back home now. Had to buy more throttle body cleaner. Had to buy a new tensioner. Not a new tensioner. I had to buy a new belt, and here's the new alternator. So pretty much this whole process is rinse and repeat. All that I'm gonna do different here is pretty much just clean this, clean that with this guy, and that's pretty much it. The rest of the process is literally the same. So I probably won't record too much of that whole thing, but I will try my best. So let's do it, guys. Oh, so we got the alternator back in, cleaned up the throttle body and the throttle body spacer. That should help with rough idles if you guys are having any. I honestly don't even know what any of my problems were, because my car was just kind of freaking the hell out. So I'm hoping changing this alternator will send a good signal back to the camshaft positioning sensors, which will stop my freaking car from like surging up and stuff. But yeah, we're gonna throw all this stuff back on. We're gonna throw the serpentine belt on. Hopefully I do it right. Alrighty, so we got the pulley back on. Honestly, I feel like that was probably the hardest part, is putting this back on. Not because it was so difficult as towards getting it all on, but as a fact of just double checking, triple checking, making sure that all of this is going in correctly. So pretty much the way that the serpentine pulley goes is over the alternator, all the way down. Let's see if you guys can see this. Down and up, goes over to that guy right there. No way that you'll be able to see this. Underneath that guy, back up through this pulley right there, and then from that pulley goes up to this pulley, underneath this pulley back down to this main part right here, underneath that up to the tensioner again, and then from the tensioner it goes down, and then down to the AC pulley, and then over the AC pulley through the tensioner again, and that follows out up to a straight line up to the alternator. Kind of difficult. I'll link down in the description a legitimate like file that shows the serpentine belt, but yeah, we got it done. Just like that, we have replaced the alternator in this 2006 Mustang GT. Honestly, I feel like the hardest part was putting the belt back on, but like I said earlier, it's just because you have to make sure that you configure it in a right spot. And I will put the diagram down in the description below. But yeah, that was pretty simple, I would say. Once you're done, it's always good practice to check over, you know, just check over everything, make sure that everything's plugged in, make sure you aren't missing any bolts, make sure, you know, everything's back how you left it. That's why it's really good to take pictures beforehand. Oh, I'm an idiot. I went to start my car and forgot to plug the battery back in. So yeah, don't forget to plug the battery back in, guys. Don't be an idiot like me. This will take like 2 seconds, but let's go see the startup. Alrighty, so since I did disconnect the battery, right here, the only code that is showing up is the P1000 code, which is OBD system readiness test not complete. That's to be expected after you, you know, disconnect your battery and such. I am going to clear this code, and then from there, we're going to turn on the car, and then hopefully everything goes as planned, and we have no more check engine lights anymore. Hopefully this fixes the issue completely. Perfect. Very healthy startup. Now let's just wait and pretty much see what happens at this point, because as of right now everything seems to be working fine. The idle seems a lot better right now, which is really good, but I think that's because I cleaned the throttle body and all that stuff. So I don't know, I'm gonna keep, you know, doing my thing with the car. I have a show that I'm potentially going to, but we'll talk about that in a later video. Hopefully everything works out. So I'm gonna consider this a win. Alrighty, I'm gonna consider that a dub for today, because I hope that this fixes my issue, because I've been having this issue for too long now. First it was my camshaft positioning sensors, and then finally I decided to do the alternator, which is good because I mean I did need one because of everything that was going down with my car. But I'm gonna consider this a dub for the day. If you guys did enjoy, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below. I got a decent amount of content coming up here soon, so if you could subscribe, please do it, because you're not gonna want to miss these coming videos. Yeah guys, until next time, pretty much that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you later. See ya.